Awareness leads to acknowledgement, and acknowledgement leads to effective action, especially when it comes to getting our health needs met. We are aware that there are three main categories of stress that impact our health. These are mental, physical, and chemical stress. But did you know that stress is a necessary component to creating your healthiest life? In this video, we will break down the important distinctions between positive and negative stress, resilience versus reduction, and find that sweet spot in using stress to create a dynamic, adaptable, and sustainable body. Hello and welcome back. My name is Dr. Michael Chiropractic with Telos Chiropractic, and I believe that every single human being is capable of experiencing more out of life through a healthy body. When you type stress into Google, you'll likely find articles that are focused on the topics of stress reduction or stress management. But let me ask you this, how many of us are looking to simply manage our lives? If we were honest, most of us want to live and experience our lives, and it would be very difficult to do that if we were simply mechanically managing them and reducing our experiences. The truth is that we are not designed for that, and when we don't have these experiences of stress, we can actually do more harm than good. The same can be said for the other end of the spectrum. When we have too much stress, this can lead to issues as well. So how do we find the sweet spot? It's important to remember that stress is the body's nonspecific response to any demand for change. So stress isn't inherently good or bad, but it's ultimately the perception and the capacity of our bodies to adapt to that stress that gives us these distinctions. Hans Selye developed this theory back in 1936, and it's really helped set the stage of how we examine health in relationship to stress. Selye broke down stress into two main categories. There was eustress and distress. The first one, eustress, can help build the body towards improved performance and adaptability, whereas distress was associated with decreased adaptability and performance, typically associated with over or understimulation of the body. So what does our relationship with these two categories look like? Well, if we can imagine 5 separate stages along this continuum of health, we can figure out the best position to create a dynamic, adaptable, and sustainable body. If we look at this slide here, we've got the 5 stages of stress, and this is according to the physical stress theory, which is actually pretty cool research. This has some great crossover with how we respond to stress as a whole. Level 1 is understimulation that leads to what we call atrophy. So this is under the body's capacity to maintain proper health. And what happens is we get this term, use it or lose it. So when we do not get proper stimulation of stress in a particular area, maybe we're not using a particular thought pattern or using a particular muscle group, your body is going to reallocate those resources to other areas that are going to be more effective. Level 2 is maintenance. This is where nothing is getting any better or getting any worse. Level 3 is positive stress for growth and adaptation. This is where we go about 10% outside our comfort zone, but then have strategies to adequately recover so we can come back stronger and continue to grow in our function. When we start to push outside of that 10%, this is where we start to get into level 4 and level 5 territory. Level 4 is increased stress that leads to fatigue and injury. So if you're an athlete, this would be repetitive type traumas where we are not getting ample rest periods or taking the time to adequately mobilize and prepare the body for our workouts. And these things show up in forms of tendinopathies, stress fractures, fasciosis, etc. These can also show up in other categories like increased mental and emotional stress throughout the day from work or family life, but also chemically when we have a poor diet that's consisting more of sugars, processed foods, and not a lot of water. When stress is significantly outside the body's ability to adapt, this is where we hit level 5, where we can see severe damage or even permanent effects. Obviously, we want to avoid this as best we can, but where do we want to be on a regular basis so that we can continue to grow in our health? The sweet spot is being able to circulate between levels 2 and 3. Here's why. Level 2, as we discussed before, is maintenance. Nothing is getting any better or any worse. But let's reframe that as stagnant. And if you've been to any stagnant body of water, we know that this is actually harmful for the ecosystem. So having those opportunities at level 3, the positive stress, can actually change our stress environment and allows us to continue to grow and provide resources to create a healthy biological ecosystem. Awareness of those resources allows us to reduce unnecessary stress, but then become more resilient because we have strategies to build our body from the inside out. Chiropractic care does an amazing job at this by restoring that awareness through the nervous system and proper joint motion. We can reduce that stress on the body and allow the body to heal itself. In our office, we combine this with the 4 pillars of health: how we think, move, eat, and rest, in order to create that environment for an adaptable, dynamic, and sustainable body. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got a lot of value out of this session. And if you liked the video, click the like button down below. As always, feel free to comment or leave any questions that you might have, because we are here to be that resource for you. Also, like our Facebook page for all future Telos Chiropractic videos. Our next video is going to break down those 4 pillars of health that form the foundation for a dynamic, adaptable, and sustainable body. As always, thank you so much for watching. Live healthy and live with purpose.